Good morning, Thompson Station Church, both campuses. Pastor Eric and I want to say hey to you in Columbia and hey to you at the campus in Thompson Station. About 9 years ago, God began laying on my heart that TSC, Eric, ought to do some kind of work in the context of Murray County and Columbia. And at that time, there weren't many people wanting to go to Columbia. The truth is, Spring Hill was booming, and everybody wanted to do something in Spring Hill, but I got a tug in my heart to go south. And after about 3 or 4 years of praying and preparing, God rose you up from our staff to be our campus pastor, and we're thrilled about that. And brings us to today, the 5th year anniversary of
5 years.
5 years at our campus in Columbia. So I want to talk to you about that journey. The TSC campus in Columbia, led by Pastor Eric and his team, connecting people with Jesus to experience His greater life. Jeremiah 3:33. Early on in this process, a few people came to me, and not in a bad way or negative way, in a positive way, just said, do we have plans in the future for our campus to one day grow into intentionally being a church plant, like Cincinnati or Vegas with our other 2 church planters? My response then was, I don't necessarily think that's our intent. We intend for it to be a campus, but 5 to 7 years from now, or when they're running 400 or 500, we don't know what God's going to do in the future. So that was just, they asked and I answered. Well, this summer, something interesting started stirring in my heart. During the latter half of the summer, the Lord started just moving me, Pastor Eric, and I kept saying, Lord, what is it you're stirring me about? And He said, the answer's yes. And I said, Lord, it'd be nice if I had the question if the answer's yes. And then He said the question was, is it time for the Columbia campus to be a church plant? And today I want to share with you, God has laid it on my heart, I believe it to be the right time and the right thing for TSC to plant our Columbia campus as a church plant in Murray County. And I'm excited to share that with you. I've shared this with Pastor Eric, key leaders on our staff, and some key lay people. And to the person, they've said absolutely right time and the right thing to do. Let's plant a church from our campus in Columbia. Pastor Eric, I want to hear your heart on this.
Yeah. Well, so basically the way this worked was Pastor Tom brought me into his office and he said, this is the direction we're going. What do you think about that? And I had to pick myself up off the floor. I mean, obviously you and I have had conversations about this in the past, and we had both come to an agreement that we were a campus and we were going to remain that way. And so that God was stirring your heart just blesses my heart to know that you're listening. Mm-hmm. And so now as we're moving that direction, I think the visual that God gave me was, we've already planted 2 churches as a church. We planted in Cincinnati with Reagan Wagner and his team, and then we planted in Vegas as well with Steve and his team. And so in that, I look at it and we, those were from the bottom up. Literally, those were seeds.
Yeah.
Well, for us, in August, we were blessed to average about 400 in attendance at Columbia campus. Yeah,
it's amazing.
And so for us, it's like we've been in a greenhouse in a pot, and now that's in the South, you call it a pot.
Yeah.
So we were in a pot and our, all of our roots and stuff have grown to the full extent of that, and you're seeing that it's time to plant us in the field as a true sapling, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Man. It's a powerful, but isn't that how God works?
That's exactly how God works.
Yeah.
What I appreciate about Pastor Eric is that he's always been a team player, and it's all been about advancing the kingdom. And so as we talked about this, and then God laid on his heart this analogy. We planted beautiful seeds in Cincinnati and in Vegas, but we've had the privilege for 5 years, as God laid on Pastor Eric's heart this analogy, for 5 years in a greenhouse, we have grown a strong sapling, and now it's going to be planted in the field of Columbia for a beautiful harvest for the kingdom, and we're going to be doing this together. And so Pastor Eric and I just want to ask you to celebrate this 5th anniversary of our campus, and then celebrate that God in the near future is going to grow us into 2 churches from 1 with a church plant in Columbia from TSC. So pray with us about this transition. Thank you so very much. We love you. Pastor E, you want to say the last word?
Yeah, we'll stop like this. Just remember, there's more details to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.